We be live!
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Oh, let me make sure my phone doesn't make a noise. I hope it doesn't. All right, guys. Hi. We're going to be doing the news today on atheism, religion, and all that stuff. See, I knew it's going to do that. And we're going to be covering the news from all around the world. Which countries are we covering today?
Ooh, today we have stories in India, Iran, Israel, all the I countries right away. France, US, one in Greece, and a hilarious one from the Philippines.
Oh, wow, Philippines.
Yeah.
Look, today I didn't even have to ask. People are telling us where they're watching from. I ask people to tell us where they're watching from, and see we have India, and my cult. Obviously, my cult is here as well. Norway, hi Fudge, and then who else? Soha is here. Soha is confirming that the audio is great. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, Russia and Pakistan in the house. Look at this. Hello from Russia. Hi from Pakistan. From Sweden. Another
Ooh.
Pakistan. This is
Oh,
amazing.
that's awesome.
U.S. The
Wait, I want to
Alabama.
address
The
something really
France.
quickly.
Go
Watcher
ahead.
is saying, watching from Sweden, where 5 Islamists were planning a terrorist attack before being arrested this Tuesday. Watcher, could you please post a news article about that in our news suggestions channel on Discord? I'd like to look into that if you don't mind. That'd be super helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, and actually, this is a reminder because Orhobo is saying Easter is a pagan holiday season. Guys, happy Easter. Happy
Yes.
Easter, my friends. I think this is probably one of the first years where I can be like happy Easter and have it not be like a thing for me.
A thing for you.
But
What do
because
you
okay,
mean?
I have been so I have a lot of friends from different cultures, right? And so I've been enjoying recently a lot of their holidays, but like in a very secular context. And I think
Oh.
that taught me a valuable lesson where I can go approach holidays from my own background, my own cultural background with like less sense
Religious.
like associations than I previously did. And I'm like, well, if I can enjoy their religious holidays and like have it be super casual and like not even a thing that I think about, like, and I can genuinely say to someone like, oh, Eid Mubarak, like I can tell them like happy Eid, and like that doesn't mean anything to me. Why can't I say the same thing for like Easter?
Oh.
If like
Okay, that's interesting
Nowruz is like super chill for
because
me.
you said Happy Easter, and I was like, okay. I didn't. It seemed like more significant than a normal Happy Easter. Now I realize. Now I understand what that was about. Okay, interesting. Okay, well,
Anyways,
I need to read some more countries. People from Sweden, from Turkey, from USA, and again from USA. Oh, I should read the people's names. Yusuf from the USA, Erkin from Turkey. See, I suck at this. I need to. People are writing so I could acknowledge. Sorry, I'm gonna read your names next time, guys. Next week I will read your names and the country at the same time. Um. Oh no,
yep. So let's get
that's
into the news because
okay.
yep.
Yeah. Guys, keep posting your countries. I will maybe highlight them if they see them, but I can't keep reading them forever. Okay, so is the news today mostly tragic, mostly funny, mostly ridiculous,
I'm
wholesome?
going to say this week they are, I like to find stories that are juicy. There might be an element to it that is bad that we don't agree with, but it's a juicy topic. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to dig
Yes.
into. So that's the
Okay.
main flavor we're going with today.
I do need to say this. GJ, I see you also say hi from Holland. I think I couldn't highlight that because of the name, because that doesn't show up on stream yet. I just want to see I saw that as well. All right. Okay, so can we clap for the first news?
Sure. We don't like this, but it's in comparison to what we're used to coming out of Iran. This is not a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. And it highlights many things. Okay. First news.
First news, attacked with yogurt and arrested. The dangers of not wearing hijab in Iran. A shocking incident in Iran has caught the attention of the world as a man threw a tub of yogurt at a mother and daughter for not wearing hijabs. The disturbing incident, caught on camera, quickly went viral on social media, sparking outrage and concern about how citizens enforce mandatory hijab laws upon each other in the country. Despite being the victims of an assault, the mother and daughter were arrested by authorities for not following the country's strict dress code, while the man who threw the tub was arrested by police. But the incident also highlighted the bravery of those who continue to protest against the mandatory hijab in Iran, with many risking arrest or assault from security forces and pro-government Iranians. While the Islamic Republic has not bowed to the pressure from protesters, the incident has sparked renewed outrage and calls for change. Authorities issued stern warnings and threats of punishment for those who do not follow the country's dress code.
All right, so let's watch the video.
Yeah, because this was huge on Persian social media recently. So I really want you to dig into the stuff that we don't have access to in English, Armin. I need your analysis. Okay. Tell us what you know.
All right, so guys, watch this. This video, you guys, this has been a week. I think it's been a week now since this video has come out, and you have no idea how big of a bomb this was on Iranian news and social media. Like, every goddamn second of this video has been microanalyzed by so many people. This has become an event. There's like a pre-yogurt and post-yogurt now. Like it's on there. It's huge.
We now divide the world into two periods: pre and post-yogurt attack.
Yes. So let's watch this and this. For people who might not be seeing this, we should like pause and describe what has happened. Okay, so let me go through it. So this is like a normal, just a small store in Iran, and there's two women coming in. You can see the mother and daughter. The mother is wearing a loose hijab, right? And the daughter is wearing a no hijab. Right, and obviously she's an adult, and legally she's supposed to be wearing the hijab, but she's not. Like many other women in Iran who are just not wearing the hijab anymore, and the government is not enforcing it as much because there's just too many women in Iran that are not wearing hijab, so they are failing to enforce it. Also, they're afraid of enforcing the hijab because they're afraid of another Massa Amini situation happening, and they can't go through that anymore, and that's why they are holding back. So yeah. So you see how casual it is. Like when I was in Iran, a woman walking without hijab would have been like, "What the hell?" And like people now are not even looking. It doesn't seem like a significant thing. So you see this guy, right? You see this guy coming from behind. He's obviously this guy, right? So
he must have seen them down the block or something, because he comes walking up to them.
Yeah, and he's like walking with like a fast pace, so he's like targeting this lady with that hijab, and you can see that she looks back, and obviously like I think must be saying something. So he's like telling her to put the hijab on, right? And now the mother is looking back as well. The man is like, put the hijab on. This is like I'm reading the body language. He's talking to her as well, why you're not wearing the hijab. So you can see she touches the scarf, but she's like not putting it on her head. And the mother is talking back to him as well. I think I'm guessing that she's telling him to mind his own business. And now the man goes and grabs something from the corner of the store. What is he grabbing? What is he getting? It's a bucket of yogurt, and he's aiming it at this woman's, as the daughter's head. Okay, like, And the mom too, and the mom as well. Oh, and here's the part. Here's the part where made this even go more viral, because it wasn't just the attack. It wasn't just the yogurt attack. The store owner came out from behind his stand, and now he attacks the religious man who is attacking the woman. So he's defending. He's like he got so angry. He, as soon as he saw it, he moves right away and he attacks the religious man. And here's an interesting thing in part. There's another man that wants to go confront the religious man, and his wife, I'm assuming, holds him back, saying, "Don't get involved." You can see that she is trying to stop him. It's like no, but no, he's insisting. He is insisting to go get involved, right? And this is what a lot of people are liking, because it's not just about women, right? You can see the men. So a lot of women in Iran are celebrating these men who didn't just stood by and let this happen, right? They went in and they started confronting the man, right? And look, so that was it. That was the video, and this has gone viral. But go on.
So why? This is something that I don't understand from the outside. Is why do you think this incident had such a big impact? Like President Ibrahim Raisi came and addressed it nationally. Like he gave a talk and like referenced it, right? So that's
Right.
huge. But I don't understand why this was so big when there have been people who were getting strangled but with their own hijabs by the morality police, like in detention. You know, like, is it because this was just caught on camera? Or why did this become such a national talking point that Raisi even had to talk about it?
Okay, because this is the people versus the people. I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy has a Basiji card, so the lines are blurry, right? But first of all, it was recorded, right? Second of all, it's less like a government enforcement kind of situation and more the whole religious mandate of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar, right? So it also shows it's a beginning of a new trend, because the government is taking a step back, right? And now, because the government is taking a step back, the religious people in Iran are very angry, and they are angry with their government for why they're letting all these women walking around without hijab, and they're now getting involved more instead of the government. So, and now people are turning on people, right? So the society has become very polarized now, right? And this is a reflection of that. And the side that is against these religious nut jobs is showing that we are many. Like if we like we are supporting each other. Like this is so encouraging, because so the regime has taken a step back, and now these religious people want to step in and do this job for, instead of the government. The people on our side, the people who are more liberal and want to be free, this demonstrates how the people naturally are in support of each other, and how they have each other's back, and how they're the few, because the narrative to us by the government has always been like it's just a few minority of people who are like this, and the people who are loyal to the government and religious, they are the many. But when something like this happens, first of all, the failure of the government to enforce hijab laws demonstrates that we are actually many, right? And also the fact that they are strongly backing each other is like they're also supportive of each other. And it also demonstrates, it's another thing, another thing is that it shows their desperation. Like a lot of people like this video because it shows their anger, right? Because usually with those other videos, it shows them at the position of strength and the people at the position of weakness. But this video, on the other hand, is so beautiful to people because it shows their desperation and their weakness, and how the tides are turning and how the people are taking over. That's what this video represents as well. Yeah.
Okay,
Does that make
helps
sense?
me. That helps me understand this a lot. Thank you. Because I was like, we were talking about this before the show, and you're like, do you find this surprising? And I'm like, no. So I couldn't understand like why this became so significant, because I know that people like this are out there. I know that people like this trying to enforce these rules upon each other. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, why did this become so big? But yeah, that really helped me understand
To me, this was surprising. To me, this was unique. Okay. I've never seen anything like this before, right? To me, this is like the society has changed, and it has changed so much that it's not. It's refusing to go back. What?
I just thought maybe it's because I'm an American and like seeing videos online of people like throwing food at each other in a fight is not that unusual. I'm like, yeah, someone is having a fight in a corner store. Sounds like a regular Tuesday. Like,
okay, no, it's like it's subtle things. Original. It's about. I mean, okay, that's actually a good example. Like, if there was just an attack, it wouldn't, in the U.S. news, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? But imagine if it was about something hot topic. Like, imagine if somebody in the U.S. threw a bucket of yogurt on someone else's head because they were trans. Okay, now all of a sudden this would become major news, because it's not just if this was a fight, not about hijab, this would not become a big news at all. If this was just somebody throwing yogurt at somebody just because they owe them money or something, obviously this wouldn't go viral like this, right? But this was something else. But to me, this was surprising. To me, this shows how normalized has this become, and how, society is like refusing to go back. And so, because these people like this, okay, actually, this is the explanation. Okay, I grew up fearing people like this. These people were intimidating, and they had the entire strength of the government behind them, right? And they walked around as if they owned the place. You know what I mean? And us non-religious people had to be like, oh, look at this guy is a Basiji, or he has a beard, like he's like, look at this, so he's like one of them. We have to be careful. We have to be mind our manners, like the way we talk, right? And now for us to grow up in that environment and see him being intimidated by people that are on our side, is just like, wow, like they are the ones who are afraid now. They are the ones who are intimidated. And I actually have a video that shows that even more.
But are they intimidated though? Because this guy, like, they ended up arresting the women. They did arrest the guy. But then Abraham Raisi came out, and I know, but then the president came out and basically said, yes, you need to obey the law. And he basically would like endorsed the, Islamic self-policing.
Yeah, but not like that. Like, they're like, a lot of religious people are throwing this guy under the bus. Okay. And they're throwing him so much under the bus that they're now coming up with conspiracy theories that they're together, and this was the planned attack to make the regime and religious people look bad. They're like, I've seen pro-government YouTube channels, right? I see, like, they're like, oh, look, she looked back here, like with this part. She looked back. Oh, she looked back. They're looking eye to eye, so they must be coordinating. They must be together, because like, why would she look back, right? I was like,
that's so stupid.
And I was like, dude, he came from this direction. She's looking in this direction. And also, if they looked eye to eye, that doesn't mean they're together. And then also, when he comes here, they're like, this is the day before Sizde Bedar. This is such a coincidence, right? Right, exactly when you guys need something, there's something like this happens, huh? You guys just need excuses. Like, the timing, they say, is very
They don't need excuses, because the IRGC was shooting at people on Sizde Bedar. Yeah. What are you talking about?
And also, they say, how is it possible that he picked up a yogurt? Why is the yogurt not in the fridge, right? And people are like, dude, yeah. They're like, he's like, look, he picked up the yogurt. Why is the yogurt outside? Why is the yogurt not in the fridge?
This becomes a conversation about like food safety standards.
No, but they're like, these stores have open door fridges that they keep the yogurt in. That's the normal thing that they have in the stores. So he just like, yeah, so that's another. So again, they're coming up with so many conspiracy theories. Another video came.
Where did this yogurt come from, huh?
All right, can I show
Somebody's
you
called
another
the health
video?
department.
Yeah, yesterday another video came out that is getting some attention on social media, not as much as this one, but as somewhat it's going a little bit viral, and to me this really shows how things are changing, like the tides are changing. Should I just show the video or should I read my caption first? I put the caption.
Let's play the video and then you can basically explain what's in the caption as the video plays.
Okay, fine. Okay, so this is in the park in Iran, okay? And you see this chadori woman, and chadori means like you're wearing a type of hijab that shows that you're not just you're religious, like you're going out of your way to wear the Islamic attire, right?
It's
so
probably
she's obviously
like the second most conservative form of hijab you'll find in Iran.
Yes. Okay, so let's play this. So she's going around and telling people to wear their hijab properly. So again, this is like one of the people. Hold on. This part is just pausing so that she could be identified. They paused on her face so people go and identify her. Right?
Oh snap!
So look at this. So here you can see her. So you see the arrow showing that this is her, right? This is her right here, right? So let's go back a little bit. You can see that just to make sure you understand it, but that they have these helpful marks. So that's her, okay? So we go. So look, she saw this woman with no hijab. It's not like she just points to put a hijab on, okay, and that's it. But they're not having it. They're like, no. This is not, you can't do that here, okay? That's all she did. I mean, she has been doing that to probably a couple other people. That's why she's recording. And now she's like, the woman who's recording just came out of the bushes and now she's going to confront her. She's like, how much are you getting? How much are you getting Sunday school? Like, so like, she's like, how much are they paying you to do this? Oh, look, she grabbed there too. She's trying to move away and she grabbed her. Look. Like, how much are you getting so that you could insult women like that? Right? Yeah. So to your own kind, but she means like a woman. Like you're insulting your own kind, right? Like why are you getting into other people's business? And now she's not done. She's chasing her.
Oh my god!
Like she came from the other direction and she came to her again.
این خانم این جقله ساندیسی به همه زنا داره میگه که حجابتون رو
she's running away.
بکنی سرتون. تو بیخود میکنی. ساندیسی. آره. ساندیسی وایستا بگیرینش ساندیسی.
She says stop. She's like somebody get her. Can't stop her. Look, she's running.
She looks like a little ninja.
I don't know. I can't explain how unbelievable this was. These people are now running away. It used to be the other way around. It used to be if you don't wear proper hijab, you had to run away. Now the hijabi, like religious lady, is running away. This is such a, I don't know, such a demonstration of how tides are turning. I don't even know how to explain how significant this is. I can't believe this is happening. I mean, there's no government. It's just people versus people, and it's the religious ones who are running away now. Yeah.
Yo, the way that she was in the bushes. She was in the bushes on profiling. She was the way she stepped out of the bushes. It was like, Oh, no. Oh, bitch, you thought? I'm right here. And then she comes around the other way and it's like, no, I'm right here too.
And yeah. Anyways,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I could. I wish I could translate the Persian, because the way she describes her is so funny, but it doesn't make sense in English. Any comments you want to read in the live chat about all of this?
Trells
Well,
is saying that was like a Persian lioness waiting in the bushes and attacking and chasing down the enemy.
Yeah,
That's so
I mean,
true.
this
It's
is
like
what happens.
sitting in the bushes, lying in wait, and then she pounces.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is what happens when you Islamically you mandate people to take the enforcement of laws in their own hand. This is in the Quran, and this has also been mentioned a couple of times by Khamenei himself for the people to do this, right? But now they're regretting it. Now they're like, okay, we should, this is it's getting really heated, right? And it seems like everything is about to explode, because even the government is not going to enforce it's going to go experiment back and forth with enforcing the hijab laws, because it's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, the government, because if it does start enforcing the hijab laws, something is going to happen. Something at some point is going to happen, and it's going to be like Mahsa Amini all over again, and they have paid such a heavy price for that. They're like, we can't go through that again. There's no way we can go through that again. So they're like, okay, let's pull back, right? But now it's getting even worse, because by pulling back, they have the religious people. They're like, wait a second, isn't this the Islamic Republic of Iran? What happened to the Islamic part of the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? Did we not give martyrs for this? Did we not have a revolution for this? We had a revolution so that this country becomes Islamic. And if we have laws and we're not enforcing the laws, so what is the point of these laws? And they're coming out and they're angry and they're turning into barandas. Did you know that? The people who are extremely religious, they are promising that you think they're barandas. We're the real barandas people that you have to worry about if this government is not Islamic. So they're saying, like,
For those who don't know,
like,
barandas means overthrow.
yes. So they're saying, like, you're worried about these non-religious people wanting to overthrow the government. If this government is not the government of Mahdi, right, then we are going to overthrow the government, because nothing is more important than that. So the government fears that more than the other people, because these people who are very religious, they are a lot more influential, and they are within the government. They're all over the place. So even though they're probably less than 10%, they are the base. They are the base of the government. So the government is standing. It has all the approval has is from these religious people, and if it loses them, then it has no more legs to stand on. So they're really afraid of losing these people. So they're gonna. I think the tactic of the government is now this, right? So they're gonna reduce the enforcement, get the religious people angry, and then increase it a little bit, but not to the point that it was before. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they're trying to shove it in, but without them. So imagine enforcement is at 80, okay? And then you bring it to 20, and then religious people get like, no, what the hell? And they're like, okay, sorry. They bring it back to 70. You know what I mean? And then people get angry and like, okay, let's bring it down to 10. And then religious people. So it's like
fine-tuning.
They're fine-tuning it until any miscalculation could make the whole thing go off.
Yeah, but if the base does the barandas, then what comes back is going to be even worse.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, because just because the base is doing the toppling of the government, that doesn't mean that they will have the control over after in the vacuum of power. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely went an unexpected direction last time. So
yeah, exactly. All right. So we should go to the next news.
yeah.
Somebody's like, just the tip. Who could just
Gross. I want to just
All right,
one comment that's unrelated to a news topic before we go into the next item. Hindustani Bao is saying, hello, why are your Indian viewers casteist even now? I've noticed them making casteist comments in the comment section of the video. Well, that's not great to hear. I mean, a lot of times people don't like our opinions when it comes to like what's the word I'm looking for? Like prohibitions against caste discrimination and stuff. So like just because they are a viewer of ours, that doesn't mean that they're representative of our community necessarily. A lot of people comment stuff because they are pissed off at how pro-Dalit we are. So actually, Armin, this is a fun fact. I think I've been planning to have a Ambedkar poster in my new room, a vintage Ambedkar poster. It's so
I like
cool.
that. I like
it's
that.
Ambedkar and his wife, and they're in a white chariot with white horses with Periyar driving the chariot. It's like so cool.
That's amazing. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I'm sure other people would like that. We got a super chat, so you want to highlight that as well. By the way, Cassis, if you see Cassis comments in our comment section, please respond to them, so that those ideas get challenged. You know?
Yeah.
We don't want those ideas to just sit there without a challenge. But so please respond to them when you see them.
And oftentimes, a lot of people will write in different languages, so it's like I can't even understand what they're saying, right? Let alone if they're saying something discriminatory.
Yes.
Okay, so super chat from GJ. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, GJ. Yeah.
Saying, okay, this is pretty fun, but is Kamala Harris's Africa trip in the AR news? The answer is no. It's great that your time slot is now much better for the coastal West African countries of the U.S. / Biden now targets lots going on. Oh, I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, I think I might change the time slot to be 1 hour later because
too early.
I'm not as functional as I should be. That's how early I have to wake up.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if the Kamala Harris Africa trip had anything to do with religion. So
yeah,
so that's why we might not be covering it.
Honestly, I don't care about anything she does.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't care about who the hell is Kamala Harris? Like, who is she?
Yeah, where has she? Yeah,
where has she been?
Okay,
I don't know. Do I care? No.
Okay. Can we clap for the next news?
This is juicy. Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Outrage as Israeli extremists offer cash for I can't talk. Okay, rewind. Next news. Outrage as Israeli extremists offer cash for animal sacrifice at mosque, and not just any mosque, Al-Aqsa. The Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, considered one of the most religiously sensitive areas in the world, has once again become the center of controversy. An Israeli extremist group called Returning to the Mount Movement has sparked outrage by offering thousands of dollars to their followers who were arrested for attempting an incendiary animal sacrifice ritual at the mosque during Passover. This provocative move has further fueled tensions in East Jerusalem and the West Bank. The Al-Aqsa Mosque holds immense religious significance to Muslims around the world, and its location on the Temple Mount has long been a source of tension between Jews and Palestinians. While non-Muslims are allowed to visit the mosque, they cannot pray or perform rituals there due to an agreement with Jordan, the caretaker of Jerusalem's holy sites. But the Returning to the Mount movement, notorious for its extremist views and calls to destroy the mosque, has shown a blatant disregard for this agreement and the sensitivities of the Muslim community. Their attempt to perform annual sacrifices at the mosque, despite a ban on such practice, is just the latest in a string of provocations that has incited violence and tension in the Middle East. So this happened, and then a few days ago, on the 5th of April, I think it was, then the Israeli authorities had a raid and assaulted a bunch of people during prayers at Al-Aqsa, like in the beginning of Ramadan. And it's caused, I mean, a huge fallout, Armin. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you've been paying attention to what's been going on in Israel right now.
Yeah. That's all over the news. But
Yeah.
I didn't see this detail, but that
Yeah.
whole thing, yeah, of course. Yeah,
And now there
that's
are
all over the
rockets
news.
firing and all sorts of, yeah.
Oh, cute, good.
So can you explain, for people who don't understand what the background and significance of this is, why would a Jewish ritual in this space be so incendiary?
Well, the background goes thousands and thousands of years, right? So
Yes.
this was this is the temple of the Jewish people destroyed by the Romans 2,000 years ago, and one of the most important rituals back then by Jewish people was animal sacrifice at the temple, right? There was probably no other, I would say it's high up there. If it's I could say I think it was their most important ritual to sacrifice animals at the temple, right?
Yes.
This was eventually, when the temple was destroyed, this was replaced by other rituals like reading the Torah and going like this, right? But they had to come up with alternatives. One of the reasons why they couldn't one of the sects that came out of you not being able to sacrifice animals at the temple was this small little sect that you might have heard of called Christianity, right? Which was the whole idea of like, okay, let's just sacrifice this dude, and then that would be the end of all sacrifices, right? So this whole not being able to sacrifice thing was one of the reasons why we have another religion now. But so this is like being able to have the sacrifice there would be the reclaiming of something that is 2,000 years old, right? That would be very historically significant, but it will also be doing a Jewish sacrifice at the place where Muhammad supposedly had gone to heaven. You know what I mean? The Miraj. So this is the third most holiest place for Muslims. So you doing a Jewish sacrifice there, I can't imagine. There are a few things that are more sacrilege than this. This
Honestly,
is like
you're right.
the height of like blasphemy. Like it doesn't get any worse than this. So at one point it would be very significant for one side, and from the other side, they're like, and I think this is why they want to do this. This is like the people who do things like this. They want attention. They know how sensitive this is. It's not a disregard for the other people's sensitivity. It's actually completely understanding it, and that's why they want to poke it. These people want that tension. So it's not
You're
like,
right. You're right.
yeah. But because the more so here's what is why you should be very afraid of evangelical Christians and Orthodox Jewish people. Many of them, not all of them. Okay, is that their understanding of how the world will become a better place, the barrier between the world that they are looking for and where we are at right now is the existence of the Dome of the Rock on top of the temple, right? And there is no way to remove that peacefully, right?
No.
So
No.
yeah. So their understanding is that for that Dome of the Rock to be destroyed at some point so that they could rebuild the temple, you require tension, you require chaos, right? And that's why this is why US politics could sometimes be so destructive, because Christian evangelicals, they vote a lot, and these Orthodox Jewish people vote as well. And then now you have the politics, the foreign policies of Israel and United States being influenced by a huge portion of the population who are looking for tension, for increased tension, because they understand that there needs to be a conflict for this thing to be removed from there. So imagine a whole big voter base that they're like, oh yay, war, like anything, like I don't like other people want war, they want something that is targeted for a purpose, right? Like even Putin with his that went crazy when he wants war, he's like, I have a mission. These are people who like, yay, destruction, yay, war, because more war in that area might mean that this dome is going to be removed at that point. Now imagine that mentality of wanting more war and it's voting. That's why that's how religion is really screwing up with foreign policies of these two countries, which is
It's
really
making an accelerationist situation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
that kind of explains like why this kind of action manifests and why it's like so extreme in the way that it is. But what do you think? I mean, this is a little bit more geopolitical, but what do you think about the fallout from the attack on Al-Aqsa that happened? Because it's been huge. Weren't rockets fired from Lebanon for the first time in decades?
Yeah, and nobody knows who the hell it was, because they attacked in response. Israel is attacking Hamas and parts of Lebanon, but Hamas is not in Lebanon. Hamas is in Gaza, right? So, and Hezbollah came and said that this wasn't us, okay? And it seems like Israel is believing them this time, So
Interesting.
they're like, yeah. So they're like,
maybe there was just a little rogue Hezbollah militia. That happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there are some new groups with new brands there, so everything is not Hezbollah anymore. But a lot of Lebanese people are now making fun of Hezbollah because they were like, this wasn't us. It seems like they don't even, they seem like not wanting tension. They seem afraid of Israel. They're like, we don't want any conflict with Israel right now. So they're like, and also a lot of people criticize that
Hezbollah.
text.
What happened to the base in your chest, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, it wasn't us.
It wasn't us. But also a lot of people think that whoever doing the attack, there's different theories about different viewpoints. Okay, so some people say like, why would you attack Israel right now? This is exactly what Netanyahu needs. Right? They're destroying themselves. They're divided. And you just giving him an excuse to be united again, because whenever there's an attack on Israel, all sides come together and get united.
It saved Netanyahu's government last time, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So some people are saying like, oh, they're attacking because Israel's turmoil right now is providing them an opportunity to attack, because they're like, oh, Israel is weak right now. This is when you attack. But that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they're weak right now, but your attack will make them stronger. So why would you give them that? Which is, when they say when your enemy is destroying itself, don't interrupt them. That's what they say in war. So, and this is an interruption.
Step aside. They're doing all the hard work for us.
Yeah, but that I'm not saying Israel is doing that. I'm just saying this is other people's analysis of all this.
It's really difficult.
Oh, Secular Sekai just celebrated. Yeah, go on.
No, you go first.
Secular Sekai just celebrated his 1 year membership.
That's awesome. Amazing.
Oh, and send a message on FB. I'm not seeing that message. Did you get it?
He probably is talking to me.
Okay.
And the answer is yes, I'm getting back to you soon. I haven't been feeling good recently. Health problems. But it's on my to-do list. There was something else I wanted to say. I've come to the cynical position that I don't think the Israel and Palestine situation will ever be resolved, because too many people benefit from it being as brutal and painful as it is.
Ever?
And I don't see much changing.
Well, I mean, everything comes to an end.
Okay, true. Armin, you know what I mean. Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, you're right though. It doesn't right now where we're standing, there doesn't seem to be an end to this. I agree with that. I agree with that. But yeah, but I can't imagine things staying like this forever as well. I can't imagine it
It's
ending,
like
and I can't imagine
impossible, right? But I don't see
Yeah.
any signs of improvement. It's
I
impossible
can
for
see.
things to stay the
Okay, I
same.
can see an end. I can see an end to all of this. Actually,
Huh.
I can see. I can see
no.
things getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see genocide and a bloodbath, and I can see the whole thing coming to an end like that. That I could see, right? Because of the nature of the demographics in Israel changing. So there's that. But okay, I hope I'm wrong. Anyways,
It's a sensitive
Yeah.
time.
yeah. But when you do the next news, don't start before I go down, because then I'm going to use the washroom break.
Okay.
But because I don't want, when I'm cutting it, I don't want it to be me leaving in the middle. So,
Okay.
So I'm just going to say next news first, and then I'm going to go down, and then you say next news after. Okay. Next news. Wait.
Next news: free speech threatened. Woman who insulted French president faces trial. A French woman named Valerie has found herself in hot water after insulting French President Emmanuel Macron on social media. She reportedly referred to him as a piece of filth in a Facebook post, leading to her arrest and detention by French authorities. Valerie is now facing trial for violating a law that prohibits insulting the president. President Macron is facing intense scrutiny and criticism for his controversial pension reforms, which have sparked nationwide protests and strikes, as many French citizens are unhappy with the decision to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. Valerie's case has also raised concerns about freedom of speech in France, with some questioning whether the law against insulting the president is too restrictive. The woman herself has expressed surprise at her arrest, saying she never expected to be treated like a criminal for expressing her opinions on social media. So, Armin, come back. There you are.
Yes.
You wanted to talk about this.
Yes. And look, people are shocked. People are saying, what? And then what the actual exactly? And there's, seriously, France has such laws. Yeah. Do they have such laws? Is that like, I didn't even, what the hell? Why would France have such laws? The reason, do you know why I wanted to talk about this?
I think I do.
Why? What do you think?
Well, okay. Because of the principles of free speech in general, and then also how people use certain aspects of French law to show about how our Western Enlightenment standards, quote unquote, are hypocritical. This is a common line used by Muslim apologists in particular.
No, yeah, but also because I want us to be fair, right? Because I don't want us to just be one-sided, right? Because a lot of times we show what's wrong with some countries that we don't like, and then when people attack countries that we generally like more, we see those attacks as unfair and criticize them. But we don't want to be completely, biased here. Some biases are justified, but we don't want to be so blindly biased that we don't see the same type of mistakes. I mean, it's the same types of flaws coming from the places that we often support, right? So, for the sake of not being hypocritical, because France, we have celebrated France as a country that constantly has stood for free speech with regards to the cartoons of Muhammad and standing with all the people who want to express their freedom of expression, and criticize religion. And then all of a sudden, now when it comes to criticizing the president himself, they're treating people like criminals. I mean, how could they have such laws? I mean, this will completely question their entire the position that they have, because they're like, we're not going to enforce any laws against people who draw Muhammad. Why? And they say because of free speech. I'm like, okay, yeah, free speech, France, and everything. But now then what is this? Now many Muslims will have a point. They're like, okay, what if you have Muslims who say, if this upsets you and you don't like this insult and you are punishing the person, then how come you are doing this selectively? Why are we not applying these laws to things that makes us upset? Why are we applying these laws on things that makes you upset? There seems to be a double standard here. And any Muslims who say that, they have a point. Like, what the hell? What's up? What's going on? I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I agree with you. So I pulled up a little bit more information about this law, and people will have to excuse my butchering of the French language. In France, insulting the president is a criminal offense under the offense of, quote, offense au chef de l'État, offense to the head of state, and is punishable by law. Article 26 of the French press law states that anyone who insults the president of the republic is punishable by a fine. It's worth noting that the law only applies to insults directed at the president himself and not to criticism of his policies and actions. However, the distinction between insults and criticism can sometimes be blurred, leading to controversy and debate over the application of the law. This is absurd. This is absolutely absurd.
But why would they have this law? Like, why would you have this law? What's the benefit of having this law? Especially a government and a president that has constantly been arguing for free speech. I mean, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You look like a fool. You look like a hypocrite. I mean, even if you had this law, you guys it would have been strategically in your benefit if you just been like, okay, guys, this is going to make us look so bad. Let's not enforce this one. But you just went ahead and did it. Mm-hmm. What did you get out of this? Like, what?
Here's the thing. Yeah. It says the law that makes insulting the president of France a criminal offense has been in place since 1881. I was going to say this sounds super antiquated. It is because in Spain they also have a similar, kind of archaic law about insulting the king, right? Like, what's it called? Les Majestes or something. It is part of the French press law, which was originally enacted to protect freedom of the press and to regulate the press industry. Over time, the law has been amended and expanded to cover other forms of expression beyond the press, including speech and online communication. Despite some criticism, the law has remained in place and been used to prosecute individuals for insulting the president on various occasions.
Yeah, people are saying just delete that damn law.
I know, it's so backwards.
Yeah, and Troel is saying the French president is sometimes presented as a sort of elected monarch because of the pompous nature of the office, and this is akin to, what is this?
Les Majestes law. I don't know how to pronounce it the right way.
Okay, and do you think Google says? Oh, you want to read this one? Go ahead.
Oh, Google says France got rid of its law criminalizing offending the president in 2013, but it added the president to the list of state officials receiving special protection from defamation.
Well, why? But why?
I know.
I want to know the answer. Is this just like why? What is it like? This is itself the bigger attack on the president. To have this law is a bigger insult to the president, because the way people will look at you if you punish somebody who insulted you, that's worse than the insult. Like the damage that you get from like she called him a piece of filth. Okay, that damage from that is so minor to the damage that you're getting from everybody realizing that this is now a crime in France. I'm trying to understand, like, why would they put that there? I don't know.
I know.
GJ is saying. Yeah.
He's saying the Netherlands also still has a gravely insulting anyone on law books as crime punishable with fines, public service, and or up to 6 to 9 months in prison in criminal records. I know when I was in Austria, I was learning about the laws surrounding insulting people, and it was absolutely insane. I don't know. This really reminds me just like
You know,
The
with
U.S.
all
The
the
U.S. is
yeah.
we got the best model. We got the best model.
Yeah. See, and this is the most important things. Okay, every time we go, Susie, every time we go to Europe, and you get jealous of the things that you like about Europe that US doesn't have. Okay, just remember that you have the most important thing. Okay, they have many things that is better than the US, many things. Okay, but they don't have the free speech the United States has, and nothing is more important than that. Nothing is more important. Yeah. Oh, Secular Sakai just donated 1 membership to Artin. Thank you, Secular Sakai.
Oh, thank you.
That's very generous. Very generous. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I think this was an important one to cover.
Yeah.
Because, like, France, they could really improve their standards. Come on, guys.
Come on, friend. You know what? We should all call Macron. Can we do that and still have our YouTube channel in France? Can we call him Macron? You're a piece of filth. I just committed a crime in France.
Oh my god.
I just, guys, what you gonna do about it? Huh? What you gonna do? Huh?
Oh my god, this next story is really, really interesting.
Okay. Oh, we got a super chat.
Oh,
before we do that. Okay.
The Armin agitators gave us 100 Swedish krona. Thank you so much, guys. He's saying, do you agree with Bill that you have a sinful face, Master? Would you like recording on your own or with the council? We've heard various recording ideas presented by Councillor Fudge recently.
Okay, good. Send me the script of the speech that I'm supposed to give, and I will record it myself. Just send me that. I will change it, edit it, and then I will record it. So send me the make it short, and I will record it and I will send it to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. And there's that. So Secular Sakai just gave us a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. You want to read this one?
Yeah, thank you for the $5, Sakai.
Oh, wait, I didn't answer. Wait, I didn't answer the first question. I answered the second question. Sorry. Do you agree with Bill that you have a sinful face, Master? Yes, I do. I do agree with that. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of like I enjoy the fact that when people look at me, they just without talking to me, they realize that man sins. That man sins all the time. I can tell. So yeah, I do agree with that, and I enjoy it. So there's that. Here's the second super chat.
Sakai is saying we should find real supporters of laïcité and secularism and start a French language AR channel. Yeah, when we were in Germany, we met a bunch of French secular activists. That was really interesting. Armin kind of had some beef with one of them.
Wait, I don't remember this. I did?
Remember with the whole feminist thing and you taking the mic from Khadija and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything was fine though. You actually handled that very well.
Thank you. Yeah, but if anybody wants to reach out to us, the email is Susanna at atheistrepublic.com, right? And if you guys want to do that, you can reach out to us and we will do whatever support we could give and give you the branding and everything and get you started on that if you're interested. And not just French, any other language. You can reach out to us if you want to start a Atheist Republic YouTube channel with in different languages. We have right now Arabic, Persian, and English. We would like to get started on other languages.
And we have our South African channel as well.
Oh yes, South African. Yeah. Yes, but that's not language based. That's like location.
No, they have Afrikaans, and
I know, but it's not named after. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I know.
True.
Yes, it can. So Secular Sakai just gave us another $2 super chat and saying that also donated $10 to Opiren. Thank you. Thank you so much. When can we have the new segment about Opiren updates?
We move forward on some stuff on the back end, and I need to follow up with some other people about their tasks.
Okay. But if you have any publications there, we would like an update because I saw a new publication coming there. So if we could ever do a new segment on it, that would be great.
Well, yeah, no, we need to
Okay.
finalize that. That's the thing.
Yeah, okay. We got a super chat from GJ. Do you want to read this one?
Yeah, GJ is saying the philosophy behind keeping Dutch laws against grave insults is that even severe criticism, including colorful language for strong feelings, equals okay, but when unsupported or OTT, I forget what that means, equals wrong. I don't understand.
OTT, I don't know. Over the top?
But okay, but who decides what's unsupported? I don't understand.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, wait. Did I already?
Yes.
Also done. Okay, we already did that. And also something I don't remember, which is a username. She celebrated her 11-month membership, saying "Susie, my savior" today. So that's awesome.
Oh, I try.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the next news. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Proposal to outlaw caste discrimination sparks backlash against California senators. This is actually way more juicy than it appears on the surface. A groundbreaking bill has been introduced to California's Senate that seeks to explicitly ban and outlaw caste discrimination, making the state the first in the country to do so. The proposal was filed by State Senator Aisha Wahab, the first female Afghan American elected into the state's Senate. The bill aims to include caste as a protected category in the state's anti-discrimination laws, following in the footsteps of Seattle, which became the first city in the U.S. to ban caste discrimination. The proposed bill has faced pushback from some Indian Americans who argue that it discriminates against Hindus. However, Wahab remains steadfast in her belief that the bill is relevant across different religions and ethnicities and is necessary to protect Californians from discrimination. While Wahab's proposal has received significant pushback, including death threats and anti-Muslim slurs, the senator remains resolute in her determination to fight for the rights of all Californians. So, let's break this down. There is new legislation that has been introduced to the California State Senate, which partially controls the legislation for the entire state. And this is the first time that there has ever been legislation introduced to a state senate to outlaw caste discrimination in a U.S. state. So just the introduction of this type of legislation is itself very significant. Now, this senator has received huge pushback from this. I'm talking, her staff is asking her whether she thinks that she should wear bulletproof vests. There are people coming into their office berating and verbally abusing her staff. They've had to ask for additional security. They've been flooded with messages and from inside and outside the country. And there was even a former Indian colonel who on television said that anyone who is anti-national towards India, both inside and outside the country, basically should be put to death.
Wow. Okay, YouTube, we're not saying this. We're just covering the news. We condemn this. We are not for this.
And this is being defined as anti-national. In that framing, saying we're outlawing caste discrimination, that is being framed as anti-national. And so I read an interview with Aisha Wahab, and this woman actually seems really cool. So she is the daughter of some Afghan refugees, and her family came over in the 80s, and then her parents died, and then she was put into foster care and adopted by an Afghan-American couple in Fremont, California, which is now part of the district that she represents. And it's very significant where she's doing this in California. So she's doing this in Northern California. She's doing this in the Bay Area. Specifically, she's representing a district that has San Jose, Hayward, and Fremont included in her district. And this is significant because this district has the largest proportion of South Asians in the entire state. So she's from Hayward. She was on the Hayward City Council. And Hayward is the same city where the California State University system adopted anti-caste discrimination policies on a state level. And that happened because of activism from Dalit students coming out of Cal State East Bay at Hayward. So this is all happening in a rising out of Hayward or rising out of the same area, right? And this is because there is such a large population of South Asians in this region of California that caste is maintained. Because I remember I was living in Oakland and I had a roommate that worked in Hayward. She would tell me about how her coworkers were complaining about how difficult it was to find someone within her caste that she actually wanted to date to marry. Like her colleagues are casually talking about their caste standards in dating in their community in this part of the Bay Area. This is part of their workplace conversation here in California.
How is this going all over? Like, why are these people not modernizing? Like, how is this still with them?
Well, Dr. Ambedkar, decades ago, said that anywhere the Hindus and Indians travel around the world, caste will travel with them. He predicted this decades and decades ago.
Okay.
And
that's
also, the Bay Area is also where Equality Labs is based out of, which is controversial. For Hindu nationalists, a very controversial organization because they're pushing for Dalit rights, especially in the workplace. And so this is all happening in the same area. This is all happening in the Bay Area, and it's very significant. And so
I don't know. You go ahead because I want to say something else. We'll go on.
Finish. Yeah. Okay. So this lady seems really cool because I was reading into her background and she seems really interesting. And I was reading an interview with her by Time magazine. And Armin, this is a little bit off topic, but listen to this answer. So Time magazine asks her, how has your Ramadan been? How has this harassment, the death threats, has this affected how the month has felt for you? And she said, I'll be honest with you, I don't actually practice. I've never claimed to be a religious individual, and I'm not representative of the entire religious community. But we can be intersectional in our identity, and we're not always 100% what people expect us to be based on our identities. So that was a very political answer. But I feel like she's like low-key saying that she's like an ex-Muslim.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's cool. I like it.
And so she's saying when she gets threatened, a lot of people are saying that she's a Wahhabi, and because she's Afghan, they say that she's Talibani, and this is why she's hateful towards the Hindu community. And that so the fact that it's someone, Armin, I mean, you know how things will go with these Hindutva, right? Just because of your name, you've been told that you have Muslim blood, So when her name is Aisha Wahab. Imagine what she is getting.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine because her name, her first name, her last name, and also the fact that she's a woman. She must be under so much pressure right now. I mean, I was told so many times when Hindus came after me that I'm a Muslim, and I was like, okay, sure. Like people were pointing out to them that I burned the Quran, I'm an ex-Muslim, and all of that stuff. And I'm like, oh no, it's in your blood. Like once a Muslim, always Muslim. They think it's part of your identity, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of that. Which actually brings me back to what Dr. Ambedkar said and what you said. Saying that Dr. Ambedkar says like Hindus will bring this always with them, and that is part of the Hindu psychology. I don't know if I like that because it seems like it's so essentializing as if it's part of their DNA. I do think like this is something that people could shake off. I mean, just because
he thinks that as
doesn't
well.
Okay.
I think he's talking about within the system of faith and values that are imbued with people, it becomes part of your psychology. It's a learned behavior.
Right. Okay.
I would never think that this is something essential to anyone.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make sure that we say that in case it came off across like that to anybody. Because yeah. Newman is saying, "Enjoy your weekend, guys." Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank you for the super chat, Newman.
Thank you for the super chat. We got another super chat by Secular Sakai. Do you want to read this one? Thank you so much.
Secular Sakai gave us $10. Thank you, saying this is proof that this law is needed. The proper response to this is to shed more national attention on the matter in the USA. It cannot be swept or dismissed for fear of alienating India. Red lines exist. I completely agree. I think about how the people who are doing this against her are playing their hand so much. Because there are people that do not understand the level of vitriol that exists within this community. It is, I have never seen anything like it in my life. And so when you're directing that towards an elected official to the point that there are people saying you should wear bulletproof vests, do you think that reflects well on the opposition to such measures? No.
It's insane.
You played yourself. You're exposing yourself. There are people who don't have that much, like, they think that Hinduism is just a way of life and it's all very airy-fairy and it's all very like, oh, kumbaya. And then when the behavior that they see is this, it destroys any whitewashed marketing that's been going on in their life for years, instantly. It's a mask-off moment. So you're playing yourself. But I mean, please continue to play yourself. Please continue. And I thought this was funny. Young atheist, our local Pakistani ex-Muslim, is saying, fully support Aisha. I think that's probably one of the few times we'll hear him say that.
There's a couple other comments I want to highlight. D saying they want the right to discriminate like evangelicals. Exactly. That's their idea of religious freedom. Blue Rain is saying, actually, Ambedkar said that there's nothing wrong with the Hindus. It's their scripture which makes them castes. Well, exactly. That's good. Yeah. GJ is making a good recommendation to everybody. GJ is saying, please also share Atheist Republic and this live stream on other platforms to grow. A positive prophet that David Wood had like 725 viewers last night. Yeah. And AR have Atheist Republic has 2 million.
To 2.5 million members on Facebook alone.
Members on Facebook alone. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, these things are not transferable. But yes, guys, please do share our stream so that we could grow a little bit. Yeah. Thank you so much for the suggestion, GJ. Yeah, please, guys.
Thank you.
It's not just
a good reminder.
It's not just like for our, it's for a channel to grow. It's not just about the creators, it's also about the community. So if we are to grow, it's also up to you guys if we grow or not. It's based on how many times you decide to share or not. There's only so much we can do. The rest is like up to you guys. Yeah.
And I just want to say, if you guys live in the Bay Area, particularly State Senator Aisha Wahab's district, send her a letter of support and support this measure, because that does make a huge difference when addressing elected officials. And to end this segment, I would like to have a quote from Dr. Ambedkar himself. He said, quote, all the same, it must be recognized that Hindus observe caste not because they are inhuman or wrong-headed. They observe caste because they are deeply religious. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Amazing.
And we can just leave it at that.
Well, no, we can't, because we got another super chat about the same topic by Secular Sakai.
Thank you, Sakai. He's saying, Americans in California or any state show this lawmaker support. Yes, exactly. Send a message, make a call, let her office know they have support. It makes a difference. It really does. It makes a huge difference. I actually met with my congressman recently to talk about something. And so I could see firsthand how it makes a big difference. But I can't talk more about that right now.
Yeah, we should later.
But soon.
soon. Okay. Thank you, Secular Sakai. Thank you. All right. So, okay. Can we clap for the next news?
We can clap because the authorities did their job and no one got hurt.
Okay, good. All right. It's so funny how we have to explain to our audience that if something is bad, we have to like, okay, it seems bad, but this is the reason why we're clapping. All right, next news.
Terrorist attack targeting Jewish synagogue foiled by Greek police. Greek authorities have foiled a terrorist plot targeting a Jewish center in Athens, leading to the arrest of 2 Pakistani men. The suspects were allegedly recruited by a fugitive murderer in Iran to carry out the attack on the Chabad of Athens center. The center, part of the larger Chabad Lubavitch movement, serves as a synagogue, grocery store, and kosher restaurant. The attackers were reportedly paid 15,000 euros for each victim they would have killed in the planned attack, which was about 50. They were expecting like a body count of about 50. The plot was almost complete, with the suspects closely monitoring the Jewish center before they were apprehended. The case unfolded after information about the jihadist group and its activities reached Greece's National Intelligence Agency. Israeli intelligence agency Mossad also provided information to the Greek government and promptly thanked them for their swift action. So let's unpack this a little bit. There was like an Islamist terror plot that was planned, and it was stopped because Mossad, they have their eyes everywhere, okay? And they knew that this was going to go.
Thank you, Mossad.
Thank you, Mossad. And Mossad has their eye out for damn near every Jew in the world, okay? They're like, it doesn't matter what country you're in, we got our eyes on you, okay? And they, I guess, knew about this plot and immediately informed Greek authorities, and Greek authorities took swift action. And so this is kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure what was going on here, but this is the information that we know so far. We know that there were 2 Pakistani men that were in Greece illegally. They were undocumented illegal immigrants. And somehow they were recruited by a guy who's on the run in Iran for murder to carry out this attack. And so the guy who's wanted in Iran is being tried in absentia. They arrested the 2 Pakistani men.
On the run from who?
I don't know. That's not true. They just say that he was just described in reports as a fugitive murderer.
Okay. But he's not like the government of Iran doesn't have an issue with him. He could be part of. I mean, okay. So this is.
Well,
right?
it's not like to get into. We need to unpack what could maybe be going on here. Now, let's be clear that this is speculation, but I had some wheels turning in my head, and I'm thinking that Armin probably has the same wheels turning in his head. So go ahead. What are your speculations about what this could be?
Okay, before I answer, I have a question. I heard, and I don't know if this is true, is that they couldn't find guns. Is that true?
I haven't heard that. I don't know. I haven't heard that.
So I heard that. How were they trying to attack? What was the method of attack that they had in plan?
I believe it was a bomb.
Yeah, but I heard. I have to double check this. Okay, I heard. Let me actually check this.
Where did you hear this?
On Iranian social media.
Ah.
That they were looking for guns to attack with guns, and they couldn't find guns. Like how, and people and pro-regime people were saying that this is fake. This is the conspiracy theory, right? That this is all fake. Obviously, if we hire Iranian government hires assassins, they would be good enough to be able to find guns. Like how
recent history begs to differ. What?
I mean,
to be fair, the guy that attempted to assassinate Masih Linajad in her home in Brooklyn, he actually did have a gun. So I mean, they're kind of right, but he was otherwise incompetent.
Yeah, they're like, this is okay. So they're saying that this is a fake news. designed by Israel to pressure Iran to push away Europe more from Iran. That's what they're saying, right? So this is, by the way, look at the countries that are involved. So we have Israel, we have Greece, we have Iran, and we have Pakistan. So this is kind of a messy situation, right? But I mean, here's the thing: is it the Iranian, whether this Iranian guy that hired these two people, whether he's with the government or not with the government, that makes all the difference. I mean, I don't understand if he's not with the government, why would he be doing this? Like, is he as like a personal thing? It's just
I know, because the Iranian government does have a history of just going after any random Jew in any random country because they can, and because they can't go after Israel directly, so they go after just random Jewish civilians. They do that.
But also, we have to understand that the Iranian government is not just one entity. There's a lot of rogue elements within the regime, and like many things happen that certain other parts don't know or don't approve, and there's certain. So it's just like it's all over the place. It's not like when we say was he part of the government? That means that the entirety of the government of Iran was behind this. It's just it's just a lot more complicated than that. But it's been failure after failure for attacks like on Israelis. Like Mossad has been doing such a good job in the past couple of years, just stopping every single one of them.
If I was on a football team, I want Mossad as my goalie. I want Mossad as the goalkeeper.
Yeah. It's interesting that the areas that Iran keeps trying to target Jewish people, it's not in Israel because it seems like they can't reach Israel. It seems like it's Turkey area. It's either Turkey or around Turkey, which is like same with this one. So it's very interesting that it keeps happening over there. Like, why is it all around? A lot of Jewish people should just stay out of Turkey and now maybe Greece as well. But I don't know. I don't know why they have bases there or they have operations there. Is that why it's happening mostly over there?
I mean, it makes sense for them to have tentacles in that region, especially considering if you consider the refugee path that people take out of Iran, it's the same path. It makes sense why the government would also have tentacles going in the same route.
Yeah. Imagine if this attack happened. How it would change everything. Like, we're talking about it as if it was an attack and it didn't happen. But if this went through, this would change the news for a very long time. Like, this would change everything. So yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen. But I can't even imagine what would happen if this went through, because Iran is involved, and Israel is involved, and now the EU would be involved. I don't think Pakistan would be that involved because those are just hired people. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. But that would be major. It could even lead to war. But anyways, I don't want to speculate too much. But yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Well, we don't know what we don't know.
No one died. No one got hurt. And we can say thank you, Mossad.
Thank you, Mossad. Yes. Oh. Okay, so let me bring up the next news. Can we clap for the next news?
Oh, no, this is not good.
Okay. Next news.
Next news. 110-year-old mosque library torched by mob of 1,000 during Hindu festival. In a brazen display of violence, an armed mob of around 1,000 people stormed and destroyed a 110-year-old madrasa or Islamic school in the Indian city of Bihar Sharif. The attackers, believed to be Hindu nationalists, set fire to the institution's library and caused extensive damage, including destroying a collection of over 4,500 books. Eyewitness accounts described how the mob threw petrol bombs into the mosque and library, set vehicles alight, and even placed saffron flags on several shops before burning them down. One of the mosque's guards, who managed to flee, reported that the mob was armed with swords and rods and chanted Jai Shri Ram. The incident occurred during the Hindu-majority country's religious festival of Ram Navabi, which led to communal violence not seen in the Bihar Sharif area since 1981. Despite the arrests of 77 people and internet services being temporarily suspended, it's another reminder of the religious tensions that plague India. So this is important because there was a lot of activity that happened during Ram Navami this year, and I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And there was a lot of violence that happened during Ram Navami last year. But granted, this year it didn't seem as bad as last year. Last year, there was so much stuff that happened during this religious Hindu festival that we were covering the fallout of what happened for like a month because there was just so much that went down during Ram Navami. For those who don't know, Ram Navami is like celebrates the birth of Lord Rama. So obviously it's going to be very significant and particularly significant to people that are more Hindu nationalistic, right? This really old mosque was destroyed and torched by a mob of like 1,000. It was the footage of it is crazy. If you scroll down, I think we have some footage of the crowds and mobs that were in the area. Yes. So when you play this, don't play the audio because it's just like, stupid backtrack music. Sakai is saying, dude, India is becoming more difficult for the West to keep as a strategic ally with crap like this. Armin, what do you think about that?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, United States has shown that they could be allies with Saudi Arabia, even though they were responsible for the worst humanitarian crisis of our lifetime in Yemen. So, and India is such an important ally to the West because the West's priority right now is tackling China, and you need India on your side on this. It's very important to have India on your side. So I think that, I mean, they're gonna maybe sometimes complain, but I don't think they're gonna ever consider even not having India as an ally. It's just so important.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? I don't think we have much of a choice.
Yeah. So wait, was it a madrasa?
As much as possible.
Yeah. Was it a madrasa or a library or a school? Because I've heard all three. I think it was all three at the same time, right?
Yeah. It was like a mosque and a madrasa and a library.
Yeah, usually they're all at the same thing.
Yeah. When oh shoot, I can't remember what. Yeah, when the Hindu, the newspaper, The Hindu, went to go photograph and cover the attack, there were still the glass petrol bombs like just lining the outside of the building.
Oh my god, this sensitivity about the whole building is burned and this guy is like holding the Quran. I'm like, oh look, the tragedy. Dude, the building has been burned down. This is what you're showing. Yeah, okay, that's the tragedy.
And I believe part of the school actually served as like a boarding house for students. And so now like these kids don't have a place to stay.
Yeah, that's the loss. That's the loss here, not your stupid book. Jesus Christ, look at this. Look at the picture. They're taking a picture like, oh, look, this is what a tragedy. God damn it. Look, this is your priority. This is what you're upset about. The building. Oh my God. It's okay. Never mind. I'm complaining too much. Anyways.
But this is important to consider because there was a lot of other stuff that happened during Ram Navami. So that was an example of some Hindu on Muslim violence during Ram Navami. And unfortunately, it goes both ways. So that's what this next topic is about, because I think it's important to be balanced in the coverage.
Oh, what are we going to be,
I knew the criticism Hindus that was coming, and I telegraphed it.
Yeah, people, yeah, they were going to get like, oh, you never show the other side. You guys are just like so anti-Hindu because you guys would never dare. Okay, well, here we go. Can we clap for the next news?
I just want to point out that Oxymoron in the live chat is just saying that he's a bit of a racist, and people are like, yeah, I can see that, and it's not a good look, though.
Yeah, like, you say that as if it's not a problem.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, and we don't like that about you.
Yeah, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You should change that. And how could you be racist to people who basically share you're the same race? That's weird.
No,
Can
he's
we
racist
clap?
towards white people.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Go on. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. See, that's the problem. That's the only joke that people accept. If I said that about anyone else, nobody would accept that.
True.
Yeah. Can we clap for the next news?
No, we don't like this one either.
We don't like this one. All right, next news.
Next news, stone pelting and chaos. Hindu devotees attacked during festival. A chaotic scene erupted in the streets of a suburb of Mumbai as a riot broke out between Hindu devotees and a violent mob during Ram Navami, a Hindu festival that celebrates the birth of Lord Rama. The clash left a few men injured, and police immediately sprang into action, arresting 12 men and charging another 400 with instigating violence against Hindu devotees on March 30th. According to a police constable patrolling the area, the accused are alleged to have thrown stones and slippers and engaged in unlawful assembly during the procession, assaulting devotees during the holy event. The incident occurred when a group of 150 men gathered as the procession passed by a mosque, and the chaos intensified as the crowd continued to throw rocks and stones at and shoes at the devotee. The police tried to contain the situation, but the mob continued to push and shove, injuring police officers and civilians alike. The riots were caught on CCTV footage and drone recordings, and the police are investigating to identify the miscreants. Despite the violence, the Ram Navami processions continued without further issues.
Okay, explain what happened here. Do we have footage?
I can't remember. Yeah, there should be some footage right there. So, I mean, it's kind of the story we just covered, but in the reverse. So in the previous story, there was like a mob of when the devotees were going past a madrasa, they like people attacked it and set it on fire. And then this one is like as the Hindus were passing by the madrasa or the mosque, then the Muslims attacked the Hindus because as they were doing their procession to celebrate the birth of Lord Rama. No.
I love seeing such unity in India. Look, you guys are copying each other. You finish each other's sentences. You're just like each other. Why don't you just get, you guys should recognize how alike you guys are.
Just get married.
You're
just like each other.
Yeah. It's just this is exactly the same story, but reverse. You're right.
You ever have a situation where you have like two family members that don't get along and they're always arguing, and then you realize it's because they're too similar?
Yeah.
You're like, wait, you guys are fighting because you don't like the behavior in the other person that you yourself do.
Wait, is this showable on YouTube or are we gonna get flagged?
I don't remember off the top of my head if this is YouTube. Okay.
Let's risk it. Oh.
It's hard for me to tell where this is. It looks kind of like a shopping mall.
To be fair, the first news was worse. These people were like stones and slippers. That other news that we had, they just burned down a building.
A historic building. Yeah.
A historic building. So, yeah. So,
oh my God,
I
forgot to tell you about the story where they burned down the historic mosque library, is that there were kids inside that building. And there were children that almost died from smoke inhalation if it wasn't from one of the mosque like guards or custodians like finding these kids and pulling them out because they had like passed out because of all the smoke inhalation.
Oh wow.
So there were almost kids that died in the previous attack. This one is like, so, having thrones and slippers thrown at you, that is dangerous. You can be concussed and like actually seriously injured, but It is a
See, we
different
have
level.
just confirmed that we have a bias. This is our inner Islam showing. Okay, we just can't help us. Even when we try to be fair, we have to always say that the Hindus are worse. See,
Mhm.
this is why once a Muslim,
Armin, don't say
once
that.
a Muslim,
Armin, don't say
yeah.
that. You don't mean that, guys. He doesn't mean it.
No, I'm just okay. I'm making fun of the accusations, guys. But also, note to editor when Susanna said, "Oh, I almost from the part that she says I forgot to say this." Please cut that and add it to the news before. Thank you. But yeah, let's go back here.
GJ is saying, isn't throwing footwear at someone considered or regarded as a grave insult? Yes. 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 Sometimes what you see is, I saw a situation where a woman in India, she was RAPE'd, and then to humiliate her, a crowd of people put a garland of slippers, like sandals around her neck to humiliate her because she got RAPE'd. It was really bad. D is saying, I want to open a slipper outlet in India. Money, money, money.
That's a good idea, actually. Wait, look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Share this instead. These are so the Muslims. I think they did burn something. Wait, where's the audio?
Oh, a saffron flag. Is this the same incident?
Huh?
Is this in the same place? Because so much stuff happened during Ram Navami. It's like, is this even the same city?
So I don't know what this Muslim guy is trying to do to the saffron color flag. Is he trying to burn it?
It looks like
I don't know
it.
what's going on. Where's the caption here? There must be a caption for this. Nope.
Oh,
No
West Bengal.
explanation.
No, that's a completely different area.
But that's in the news article.
Yeah. But it's an example
that's
of like, there was so much stuff going on during Ram Navami. These are just two of the most significant incidences. But people in India,
okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't seem like this year was nearly as bad as last year. So much violence happened last year. Over like 100 incidents, if I remember correctly, across the country.
Okay. Well, you have the rest of the year to make up, to catch up if you want.
I hate it when you say stuff like that.
Okay. Come
YouTube, this is not what we encourage. Armin is joking. He's trying to be funny. Yeah, D is saying there was stuff happening everywhere. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This next news seems clappable.
Oh, this is hilarious to me. This, as an ex-Catholic, this tickled me.
Okay. So we can clap.
Yes.
Next news.
How a blasphemous, sacrilegious food review sparked Catholic outrage in the Philippines. A high school student from a high school in the Philippines made a huge blunder that landed him in hot water. The student posted a food review of a Holy Communion wafer on Twitter, comparing it to cornflakes and giving it a 7.1 out of 10 rating. This caused a massive uproar among the Catholic community, who found the post disrespectful and inappropriate. To make things worse, the student studied at one of the most prestigious Catholic schools in the country. Many demanded his excommunication and expulsion from the school, with some even suggesting that he should be punished according to Canon Law 1367, which suggests that anyone who throws away consecrated hosts or keeps them for sacrilegious purposes would be automatically excommunicated. As a result, the school temporarily suspended Holy Mass activities, and the campus ministry said that they would guide and support the student while holding him accountable for his actions.
Wow.
So,
such a major reaction. Go on.
I need to explain to people who don't know why this is such a big deal. So, the consecrated Eucharist is believed to be the flesh of Christ itself. And to be able to receive the Eucharist, it's it's probably the most important sacrament in the Catholic faith. And technically, before you receive the Eucharist every week, you should be in a state of spiritual purity, which means technically you're supposed to be going to the priest basically on a weekly basis to cleanse yourselves of your sins every time before you go receive the Eucharist. So you can be in a state of like purity while you receive the body of Christ. Take his body into your body. Now, okay, Catholics don't typically go to confession that often. So how much we're actually in a state of purity to receive the Eucharist is up for debate. But this is the sanctity in which it is held in. Like, I was not allowed to receive the Eucharist, my first communion, until you do reconciliation. So which is another very important sacrament. So this is very, very, very important to Catholics. Now, this Darko was saying that score was way too high, to be honest. I really enjoyed the fact that it was 7.1.
Yeah, that's very
Not 7, but 7.1. Okay.
1. Yeah.
So this also, this as a former Catholic, this kind of blew my mind, because there are certain, according to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, according to canonical law, there are certain sins that you can commit that are so bad that you are automatically excommunicated from the church. You are excommunicated from God's perfect organization automatically, even if no one else sees you do it. You're excommunicated instantly, like on a spiritual level.
Wow.
And there are very few things that reach this standard of offense. One of them is receiving or procuring an abortion. One of them is basically attacking or assaulting a priest. One of them is insulting, blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. And one of them is desecrating the consecrated Eucharist. So the idea is you could go, if you take a consecrated Eucharist and go damage it, you are excommunicated automatically from the church, whether or not anyone sees you do it, right? There's a word for this form of excommunication that I can't remember right now. And I know this because I have done research into how I could get excommunicated.
Nice.
So obviously, I'm not going to go assault a member of the clergy. Okay. I'm not going to do that. That's illegal and that's bad. Okay. I have not personally procured or received an abortion, and I would prefer not to, so that's off the table. I have helped pay for a friend's abortion, so maybe that kind of counts. But anyways, and then the third one, blaspheming against the Holy Spirit, I have done that. That's what I settled on, because that's easy to do. That's easy to do. I can blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, and that's the unforgivable one. The other ones can be forgivable, but blaspheming against the Holy Spirit is unforgivable. So that's like, I need to make sure that this is settled, that this is permanent, right? And the fourth one is desecrating the Eucharist. And I was like, okay, I could do that. That wouldn't be too hard, except that would require me to actually sit through a holy mass and then go receive the Eucharist, and then I don't know what I'm going to go do with it, but that means that I have to go sit through a mass to get a consecrated Eucharist, and I'm not willing to sit through a holy mass right now. So that was off the table. Yeah, so I've done my research into how to, get excommunicated.
I can see that. This is, I really want to know how Philippines is a very Catholic country, okay?
Yes.
But I think like young people are in Philippines, the atheist movement is growing in Philippines, but at the same time, most people, I'm thinking about the average young people who are not in the atheist movement, but I think the Catholic Church is losing them as well. I mean, there's a huge growing atheist movement, but there's also a whole bigger young group of people who are just too bothered with, I mean, too focused on other things. Like a lot of the people that the Catholic Church is losing is not because they're actively going and becoming atheists. It's just because it's just boring. You know, we're in the age of TikTok. Do you think people could sit through a sermon? You know, it's just hard. You know, so I was
This is
just
why
like,
the priest. This is why they double down on hot Filipino priests. Have you heard of this? There's a couple of hot Filipino priests that they go viral on social media, and I see the tactic. I see they need to double down on that tactic.
Can we cover that? We should
go
cover
recruit more hotties.
Oh wow!
This is how you maintain focus during the liturgy.
Okay, so here's the post. Okay, so the post is, what does this say? Yeah, actually, let me.
Ostia review. I'm assuming this is maybe a Tagalog word for something, or maybe that's his.
So
anyway, design 6 out of 10. I like the vibe, but was censored. I think
that's the cracker. Here's the cracker. He
took a photo of it and then gave his review. So I like the vibe, but if it was centered, I think it would be a lot better. Crispness, 8 out of 10, not soggy, and had a satisfying crunch. Taste, 7.5 out of 10. Something not English, or I think he's saying it tastes like cornflakes. Wow factor, 7 out of 10, decent. Overall, 7.1 out of 10.
So now I understand why the 7.1 comes from. Because he took the average. That's what it's an average. Okay, so it's really hard to understand how in Philippines how the mindset is now, right? Or like how I understand some people would get really outraged, but what's the average view, right? And I think right now the best we have is to go by these emojis, right? So you can see the reactions. I'm just going to judge by the tear reactions and the laughing out reactions,
not the crying reaction.
So the crying reaction and the laughing reaction. You can see that 372 Filipinos were laughing at this, and 157 Filipinos were crying about this. So overall, I think the attitude is like, this is funny, right, rather than outrageous. So but if you go down lower, you can see this person was very upset, was saying, for us Catholics, this is just so sad, heartbroken, Lord have mercy.
They have to stop the masses at this Catholic school so they can basically purify like the whole place.
Wow.
They're like doing rituals to like purify the whole place before they can start doing masses again.
So this person is saying that student should be kicked out. And then we have another person giving expert analysis here, saying it's not sacrilegious unless the host was already transubstantiated. Oh, I did that well. Otherwise, it's just what it is, and how do you say that?
Unleavened bread. So technically, this person is correct. So they're saying until you do the Eucharistic ceremony, this is not considered the body of Christ, because it was during Jesus. Yeah. It is during the Eucharistic ceremony that it becomes literally the flesh and blood of Jesus. Literally. According to Catholic doctrine. This is a central Catholic teaching, is that during the Eucharist, it becomes literally the body and blood of Christ. So if it hasn't gone through the consecration, it's actually technically not sacrilegious. But this is actually a comment from Terrell. He's saying desecrating the consecrated Eucharist, huh? Doesn't that mean that going to the restroom after eating that damn cracker? No, but there have been instances. I remember this happened. There was an instance where there was like an old man who was receiving the Eucharist and then he dropped it or something on the floor. And there was outrage because that was considered desecrating the Eucharist. And that was considered sacrilegious. He just accidentally dropped it and it hit the floor. So imagine the level to which people are receiving this. Where it's very, very deliberate.
I really like the guy's sense of humor. I hope he's okay. I hope nothing bad happens to him. I like the guy. It's funny.
He's just like a kid. He's probably under a ton of pressure, like apologize and everything. And You know, the thing is, I actually really liked eating the Eucharist and wafers and the wine as snacks during Mass, especially because, like, you're kind of hungry and you're like, damn, I want this to be over already. And then you get a little snack and then you go sit back in your seat, probably do like a few more devotional songs, and then you finally get to go home.
It's too
When it was
small
like,
to be considered a snack.
when it was time for the Eucharist, I was always like, okay, finally, we're gonna be going home soon. GJ is saying, is this as bad as trying to attempt a suey wooey? As one of my
suey wee. Let's call it that from now. That's a good one. Yeah.
comedian
Guys,
that I
we're
like,
calling
Chris
it-
Stefano, he's like, we like to add a little fun in my household. We call it a suey wooey.
Suey wee.
Is it as bad as trying to commit a suey wooey? It's actually worse. It's way worse. It's way worse than trying to commit a suey wooey. A suey wooey will send you to hell. It's considered an abomination, but it is still forgivable.
Yeah. We got Chrissy was saying hi to us.
Yes,
hello, Armin and
Chrissy,
Susanna.
our
Yay.
best
Hey.
moderator on our Facebook group, one of our longest members.
I hope the other
Love you,
ones are
Chrissy.
not watching.
I
Yeah,
know.
thank you.
I think everyone can recognize how much Chrissy does for our community. I don't think people would take that personally. Gasian American gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you. He's saying, if I mash communion wafers with wine and fed it to mushrooms in the shape of Jesus, would it be sacrilegious, or will people actually eat a piece of Christ? Well, like I said, is this a consecrated communion wafer and wine? Is it consecrated? If it is, the answer is yes, that is definitely sacrilegious.
Okay, and thank you again for the super chat. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes, this is wild. Okay, the details of this actually shocked me. At first, I didn't think that this was that interesting, and then I was like, wait a second, what?
What? Okay. All right, let's clap. Next news.
Next news. Celebrity church accused of wage abuse and forced tithing. Forced donating. A celebrity megachurch in Seattle called Churchome, I think it's a play on words of like church and home being combined. I don't know how to pronounce it. Churchome is in hot water after an ex-employee filed a lawsuit accusing the organization of wage and hour abuse. But the big question is, why is a church, especially a celebrity megachurch with members like Justin Bieber and ex-Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson, facing such serious allegations? The lawsuit claims that Churchome forced its employees to donate 10% of their gross monthly wages back to the organization as a tithe, or face being disciplined or even terminated. The suit alleges that the policy violates Washington State's Consumer Protection Act and other labor laws. Although the Churchome Church declined interview requests, it has issued a statement that defended the tithing as, quote, the worshipful act of paying the first 10% of our income to God. This is, okay, Armin, pay attention to this. This is crazy. The statement also added that while the church does not deduct tithe from its employees' paychecks, it asks them to live out this practice. Quote, the First Amendment protects a church's right to restrict employment to those employees who choose to abide by church teachings. The Churchome intends to vigorously defend the rights of all religious institutions to live, teach, and model their faith through their employees.
Explain.
This is so wild to me. So they're saying, okay, as a religious institution, we get to dictate who we hire, and we dictate who we hire based on like a statement of faith and the standards that we have for our employees. And we ask our employees to live out our statement of faith, right? And their statement of faith says it's within their hiring policy that employees have to tithe, donate 10%, the first 10% of their gross monthly income back to the organization.
Hmm.
And so this person is saying, you can't force me to pay my employer. I cannot have punishment at my job for refusing to pay my job back. What? Only because you're a religious institution do you say that this is acceptable?
Yeah.
And the church is saying it is our First Amendment right to demand that our employees give back 10% of their paycheck to us. Why do we say that this is a First Amendment right? Because we say that this is a religious practice, and that as a religious practice, we demand that our employees of our religious organization follow our professions of faith. Therefore, it is our constitutional right to demand that you give us back 10% of your income or face disciplinary actions. How crazy is that?
Right. So why do these people keep working there? Just leave.
Well, she did. This woman did. And she this is so bad. This woman, she worked in their like AV department. She didn't know that this was part of their company policy when she was hired around 2019. And she started to face pressure and discipline in her workforce because she couldn't give the 10% because she had a car accident.
Wow.
That like deeply impacted her life, right? In her ability to, she was like struggling. She was struggling because of the consequences of a car accident. And they start to pressure her and discipline her for not giving her money back to the church when she's trying to, take care of herself through a difficult time. It's so morally unconscionable to me.
Yes. Morally, yes. Legally, does she have a chance? She filed a lawsuit. So,
I mean, I'm no lawyer. I don't know the standards of law within this area at all. I don't know how, what are the chances of success in this situation. I wonder if maybe she could take on more larger civil society representation like the ACLU. This seems like potentially a good case for the ACLU, although I do have mixed feelings about them nowadays. But because right now I think she's just being represented by a local firm, but this could have very serious implications if this goes. I mean, the lawsuit hasn't even gone to court yet, right? But imagine if this does go to court and then it gets turned up to like the Supreme Court, which if it did happen, that would happen years from now. But think about the consequences of something like this. If it becomes standard to say, yes, churches can force you as part of their religious freedom to give back your income to the organization that employs you because it is mandated as part of their religious practice. It's insane to me.
But isn't that just the same as paying less? Just be like, just pay them less, I mean,
yes. Except it's not the same as paying them less, because if you were just paying them less, then that's just one transaction, right? But this is no, we are going to create a culture within our organization where if you are not on board with actively going through the process of giving us back your tithe, you can be punished for it in your employment and in your career.
Yes. Oh, you're screwing them with taxes too, aren't you? Because you're increasing their income and then taking it back. And as a charity, you don't pay taxes because that's a donation.
Well, it could be write off theoretically, depending on.
Yeah, they could write it off. This is just paying people less with extra steps. That's what this is.
Yeah,
you just have the benefit. Yeah, you just have the benefit of marketing as if you pay that much, but then you're actually paying 10% less.
And this is so bad because this is like a celebrity mega church, right? And when you look into their financials are disproportionate. I mean, it is a church. So of their millions and millions of dollars that they have available to them, so much of it comes from donations, which means they have a wide network and they have many campuses around the country. How much of those millions are being funded by their very own employees?
Right.
Like it's a scam.
Well, I mean, somebody could argue that No, they're not. I mean, you say it's being they're pressured, but you're not pressured. You could always just not work here. So how do you respond to that?
Okay, if this is a policy that is regarded as standard and expected amongst the employees, that needs to be explicitly stated during the hiring process. This woman didn't know that this was part of the terms of employment when she signed on.
Yes.
And only when
So
she
it's
started
not-
to face a hostile work environment did she become aware that this is company policy.
That's a
So
good
you need to have
point.
informed consent. If you're going to have a policy like this, people need to know what they're signing up for and be like, you know what? I actually agree to that.
It's not. Oh yeah, you're right. They have a good case because it's not part of the signed agreement. It's not part of the signed agreement. This is like you signed the agreement that you get paid this much, and now you're like being forced.
I don't know if it's part of the contract, but it is part of the employee standards. Like,
yeah, so
there
that's
are
not gonna fly.
employee
I didn't
standards.
sign to this. I did not sign to this. You could say so. I think you might again.
No,
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
but Armin, in the contract, it probably says I agree to meet and fulfill the
To-
requirements of the employee standards.
Standards. Okay, so that makes it harder. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, Dia
Okay.
saying it's in the fine print. It's in the fine print.
Mm.
But if this sort of a thing should not be fine print, this should be a verbal expression of an expectation that we have
Yes.
as your employee.
Imagine if you could put this in the small print, and other companies that are not religious should be like, you give us 50%, and that was it. You're in the small print. Like, what are you gonna do now?
I know
You're
if I
gonna
had been
read it.
working for an organization and then I have a car accident that changes my life and I'm struggling and then they start badgering me for 10% of my income when I didn't even know that this is part of their practices and actually expectations, I would be losing my mind. I would leave too. I mean, are you insane?
Mm.
If you have an expectation that I should be paying you to pay me, you're out of your mind. You need to tell me that from the get-go. I don't know. That it blew my mind. The gall to say that this is a constitutional right and that they will vigorously defend their First Amendment right to live, teach, and model their faith through their employees this way? It's absurd to me. It's just like the gall, the balls on these people. Oh my God. Am I like out of line for thinking this is so crazy?
No, I like how passionate you are about this. This is it's good to see. Okay. Yeah, that was interesting.
Joshua Jordan is saying America.
All right, this was our last news, right? Today we don't have an AR news.
Yes, because we are working
on.
on some good things to have for our AR news next week.
I'm excited.
It's still baking. It's still baking in the oven. She's not ready yet.
Yeah. All right, guys. I was thinking. Okay, so I get some messages from people, and they ask me, Armin, I want to support Atheist Republic, but I be broke. I have no money. What can I do? How can I support you guys? I'm like, that's okay. There is an easy way that you could support us financially without a cost to you. Do you know how? Do you know how, Susanna?
No.
You could like the video and leave a comment. Okay.
You said support
will
financially without a cost to you.
Yeah. Well, because that will financially support us and you wouldn't pay anything. So that's actually maybe you don't. A lot of people don't know this. When you like the video and when you leave a comment after the stream, that's actually financial support to us. So imagine this: you're supporting us financially, and you're not spending a dime. You're not spending anything. So even if you have no money, you could support us financially by just liking the video, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the bell notification, and leaving a comment. We actually get supported financially. So just in case you didn't know. So please go ahead and do that. We spent 2 hours for you, and that would take you about 2 seconds. I think it's a worthy change. Like, we give you 2 hours, you give us 2 seconds. Deal? Deal. Thank you. All right, guys. And also by the way, not to dismiss all the people who did financially spend some money. We don't want to dismiss. Thank you so much for that as well. That we do need all of that,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah. So we don't dismiss that. Yeah. And sharing, yes, GJ is reminding everybody, like, oh, he's yelling. He's like, and sharing. Yes. GJ is very invested in making us grow. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, it's okay. No, don't worry about the cult news. We're gonna work on that. Be patient with all that. All right, guys. I'll forgive all of you. It's okay. I don't know.
Chris is saying, thank you so much, Armin and Susanna. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for being a member of our community and watching live.
Thank you. All right, guys. See you again next week. Bye. Mwah.